Hello everybody, this is my review of Resolution, Series 11, Episode 11. Happy New Year's to you all. For me, it's not Happy New Year's yet, but for you, it is, so yeah. And by the time I have uploaded this, it should be a few hours to Revolution of the Galaxy, yeah. Hope it's a good one. Yeah. Let's just get into the plot. The plot is like the show flashback of the 9th century and these big armies from they're fighting an unknown creature, and they split into 3 bits and they all go to different places. One's Siberia, one's on a small island somewhere, one's meant to be somewhere in England but the guy shot down. And in present day, they under Sheffield Town Hall, there's 2 archaeologists, Leonard and Mitch. They find his body and they find out he's holding something, and they're talking about this kiss that they had. I'm assuming at midnight at the turn of New Year's, because that makes sense. And they're thinking it's not a New Year's kiss, we're interested in each other kiss. But that's not the main drive through of the episode. That's not at all until the end, really. So the plot is that the creature awakens, and and then Ryan's, and the Doctor and that have to find out. Ryan's dad comes home and comes to see Ryan, and they go and talk about what he should have done and that. And he's not being a good dad. He was basically, the Doctor finds out this is a Dalek, not the actual shell. The shell was destroyed, and they said in the 9th century, so yeah, it would have been then, over 1,000 years ago. And basically what they're trying to do is stop it from communicating to the Dalek fleet, which they do using an element from microwave oven that Aaron brought along with him. So yeah, and what we're basically doing is trying to, for majority of the episode is actually finding Lynn, and then when they do find Lynn, it's facing off the Dalek, trying to stop his plan. They do stop it from communicating to the Dalek fleet by using that said element, and then but the Dalek creature attaches itself to Aaron, and then it tells the Doctor, right, you need to take me to the Dalek battle fleet or something like that, the Dalek thing. And then the Doctor claims to have done so, but in fact it's actually, and the Doctor opens the doors, it's actually Supernova, and it's put a little air corridor around them, but not on the thing, so it can try and wipe it out, the Dalek creature out, but not Aaron. But the air corridor has gone to, the corridor has changed its size, so now all Aaron could potentially go away as well. And Ryan basically goes to a circle and saves his dad, goes up and holds Aaron's hand, and then unplugs the Dalek creature from behind him, and then throws it into the supernova. That is pretty much the episode. It's a pretty, I think that only took like a minute or 2 to do that. Let's just go to the characters because I have a decent amount to talk about. A couple of them. Let's go to the Doctor. She uses her initiative many times in this episode to work out what this creature is, because initially she has no idea what it is, but she does use eggs from Graham's kitchen to find out, and defends Ryan when Ryan comes to see him, saying that you weren't at the funeral and he waited for you. When she has found out that he's a Dalek, she is irritated as they always come back to kill, and maybe the haunting of the Time War, like the Time War didn't finish away. The Doctor initially thought that, but people still, the Time Lords and Gallifreyans died at the hands of the Daleks. I think that little bit of resentment is still there. She's a driving force in the episode as she has to pull out all the stops and has to use things like eggs, like I said, and peanut butter to work things out. Like, she does use Sonic in this episode, but I like how they use other things that the Doctor can use. And the Dalek takes up multiple things, like it blocks the TARDIS, but signal from tracking her, but then when she is talking to the Dalek, which is controlling Lynn, and the Doctor has rebooted his systems, and uses the satellite thing when they've taken out all the the cameras from the cars. When the Dalek chuckles, she is horrified as they don't do that, and it's almost in a way sacrilege to a Dalek. Dalek wouldn't do that. And she tells Lynn to fight against the Dalek. You can do better. And she doesn't want the family endangered when she goes to the farm to confront the Dalek. However, when she gets to tell, when she goes to meet the Dalek in person, she tells Yaz, because she tells him it's personal. Like, all those people that have died with her because of the Daleks is too much. It has to be her that does it alone. Yeah, and she knows it's only one is enough to kill the entirety of the human race. Tries to get Kate Stewart at unit out of the situation, but can't, so she has to, because of some pending reviews or something like that, in other countries pulled out the funding for it. Needs the Dalek creature out of the ship so it can't send a signal to the Dalek fleet. Succeeds with that specific part. It does not, because they use the element, the Dalek does not get, and the Dalek does get out of the shot, and it does not contact the fleet, but it has taken control of Aaron. And she is scared. Oh no. She tries to save him, but the corridor is expanding in this, because they're just trying to make a corridor and him the Daleks who get off, but yeah. It was Aaron a trip in the TARDIS, and that's pretty much her. And Graham tells Aaron off for not doing enough to be a parent. It's not about DNA or name. He calls himself a gopher in this episode. He's been called upon to when he deals with Aaron, and he has to go and get Peter Butter from that. And he brings out Aaron's old stuff to show him what Grace is like, keeping his old stuff even when he might have been a disappointment to her. And let her down. As someone who didn't go to Grace's funeral, not for Ryan or for herself, but for his mum, but for himself, why he didn't go. Yaz, there's not a lot to say about her in this episode. This episode is more Ryan. You put it onto a singular companion, it's Ryan. Like, Graham has a bit, but it's more to do with Ryan because of his dad. But Yaz uses her police skills from getting Lynn and Mitch away from the scene, and they do things that a police person would do, which is a good thing. They're tying it back into her character that we first saw in The Woman Who Fell to Earth. Tries to comfort Graham and Ryan. Not the obvious way. She when she sees Graham after he's talked to Aaron, she asks him, "Are you okay?" And he says no, and then he tells Ryan, "Oh, there's a cafe around the corner." So, like, it's not direct, it's indirect, but she's trying to help him. Wants to be the Doctor to face the Dalek, but is told that the Doctor has to do it alone. Ryan. There's a lot about Ryan to put out. When he finds out that his dad has come to see him, he's literally royally pissed off. He doesn't want anything to do with this. When he finds out that his dad is trying to sell a microwave oven, he wonders how it has come to his dad being this now. Tells his dad what to say and do to become his dad again. I'm gonna say this is probably one of the most better acted scenes by Tosin Cole, or Tosin Cole. I think he actually pronounces it Tosin Cole. Himself, but everyone else calls him Tosin. I think maybe apart from The Woman Who Fell to Earth, this is probably one of his most... Yeah, that scene is one of his best. He still doesn't really care, even though Aaron is trying to be better. It's not enough for him for it to work. When he goes to the phone with the doctor, he goes in with Yaz and Mitch despite the warnings that the doctor says that this is one of the most deadliest creatures in the universe. He's eventually told to help Lynn to get to the TARDIS. He saves his dad from getting sucked into the supernova as he unplugs the giant creature and plays it into there. Promises his dad that he will call him when he gets back. Mitch, believer of the Custodian army, like the Custodian battle in the 9th century, but Lynn doesn't believe it. He calls himself Glass Half Full, despite originally thinking they weren't going to find anything. He's in love with Lynn, and hoped it was. Hoped it was the same amount of money. When she said it was, he was ecstatic. He was sort of away, jumping ahead a bit, asking, "Oh, do you want to go out, drink or something?" See, Lynn tells him to slow down a bit. Wants him to be safe and healthy, in a healthy state of mind. He's surprised that there being an alien psychopath at an ancient burial. Finds out that the Battle of Custodians is real because of the Dalek shell. What the Dalek shell look like is exactly the same one that they used in the Battle of the Custodians. He knows that the body was split apart after being taken out of its shell, and he uses that information to the advantage of the Doctor and them to work out what's going on. And then when Lynn's projection is in the TARDIS, Mitch is reassuring her everything will be fine. And then Lynn and Mitch have a thing by the end of the episode. Lynn brought Mitch to work after their kiss at midnight, like I'm assuming it was at midnight because of New Year's. Goes to look for the missing artifact and sees a Dalek creature and it took control of her. She is clever and she uses her initiative when she's being controlled, even though she is being controlled. It only tells her what to do, not really how to do it. So she does all those things. It's like, oh, let's take this police class. Good, that's a clever way of doing it. So you're less likely to. Charlotte Ritchie, the actress, if you've not seen the BBC show Ghost, it's beautiful and she's really good as Alison in it. But there's a specific, that show wasn't out when this episode aired. When the police officer comes to the car and tells, and she looks into his face, and you can see that shot. I think that is so amazing, because in Ghost she has like a happy-go-lucky attitude, but that I said here, it's so emotional, and you can see the hatred of the Dalek creature on her face, and especially in her eyes, and it's just so mesmerizing, that scene. When the Doctor talks to her in the TARDIS by hologram, she is scared. She is told to fight the creature, and is told that Mitch is reassuring her. She does fight back, and it leaves her, even though that was to go to the shell, but it might have killed her, but it didn't. And there's not really much apart from that her and Mitch begin a relationship. And then Aaron. He's trying to be a better dad for Ryan. He talks to Ryan and Graham about what he hasn't and what he should have done instead. Because when he talks to Graham, it's all about it's not about DNA or family name. It's about doing enough, and you haven't done enough, mate. And that's an amazing scene from Bradley Walsh. Bradley Walsh has amazing scenes in more or less every episode he's in. And he thinks on the spot when he finds out they need a Dalek creature out of the shell, so it can't communicate to the rest. And gets the element out of the oven because they know the element is burn it, like destroy the actual casing of the Dalek. Since it's primarily mostly earth metals instead of Dalekanium. Dalekanium, they probably would have had little to no chance, even though the Custodians did it. That's a no, they might have done it, but that's not the point. Other than he tries it out. The Dalek creature attaches itself to him, and when he is in danger of being thrown into a supernova, Ryan saves him. He tells Ryan to call him when they get back from travelling again. There's not much else I can say. This is probably, since I count this as Series 11, so it was broadcast only around 3 weeks after the Battle of Grand Skoroth Kolos. And this is like a pseudo, like it has a special, but it's also a pseudo finale in a way, because the Battle of Grand Skoroth Kolos tied Graham and Ryan's arc up. But it sort of continues from Graham and Ryan's ones in a weird way, but still. So like Ryan is trying to do all this, but Graham was also dealing with it in a different way, and that was nice. And I was thinking earlier, this looks like it could be from a movie. Like I'm gonna say, when the Dalek shot someone, like I think it was only until like could it be the absolute earliest they had this sort of idea of an effect was Resurrection of the Daleks in 1984. Like when they killed them, like I think they actually introverted it, the light from the body, so it was like black and white. But then it expanded in the Russell T Davies era. It was green and blue, and it was nice, but it didn't work. But when you see it in this episode, it's like the spine that burns with pure white and bright electric blue light is perfectly set off, and it works well, and it's amazing. I'm thinking, wow, it actually looks like a really good budget. And yeah, this could literally be a movie. You took out maybe 2 scenes from it. Like, you don't need one at all, which I'm going to talk about in a minute, which could have been dealt with differently. And that could literally be put on a cinema, and I could actually feel like that's a movie. Jodie's Doctor is written really well in this. Like there were some episodes which it wasn't written as well, and the Shragna Conundrum is one of them. And there might be other ones, but that's one that's there was like, well, it's probably because of writing, because they were writing the Doctor in a weird way. It's like, she's endangering everyone else just so she can get the TARDIS. The Doctor doesn't do that sort of thing. Yaz, I wish Yaz had a bit more to do in this episode. I know it's more of a Ryan episode, but it could have done better. Yeah, just for a hope for Revolution when that comes out. I hope, even because this is confirmed. This is, unless you don't want to go, or if you don't want to know anything going into the episode apart from the title. Right, so if you skip ahead about a minute, then yeah, but Ryan and Graham are leaving. So it would be nice if Ryan dies or leaves. Doesn't matter which. I think he's going to die, and I think Graham's going to live. But that's not the point. I think Aaron should be in that episode, either or. No, it doesn't matter what scenario Ryan ends up leaving. If he leaves, just I don't want to do this anymore, or he dies, Aaron should be there, because it sort of makes it whole in a way. Because like having his character not bring it in at all to this episode, because it's also like I don't think they use the word sequel to it, but Christian North End is like a coda to Resolution. And yeah, so it'd be nice. And that's pretty much it. Yeah, Lynn and Mitch, good side characters to have for this episode. Go check out the BBC show Ghost if you haven't seen it. And I'm going to give this episode an 8 out of 10. Pretty amicable, pretty good. There's one scene I don't like at all, and one line Ryan had right before that which was not needed at all. So, like, Jodie says, this is when they're at JCHQ, and it's like, oh no, Dalek's taking off all Britain's internet, and then Graham says something like, oh, New Year's Day when all the pubs are shut and everything, when everyone gets over and it's all closed, everything's closed. I don't mind that. Ryan says, what a monster. I was like, okay, I know Ryan's the right age, but I don't think that, yeah, that's just stupid, that entire line. But the scene that follows is like, honestly, they could have literally just gone from Graham's line to the next thing after that scene. That line from Ryan in that scene was entirely pointless. We already understood what was going on. We didn't need to see it happening, and the scene itself was not that good. It was like, oh, the actor was terrible in that specific scene with that family. And the other one, which isn't as bad, I'm going to say the Brexit, not the Brexit one, they don't actually say it's Brexit, but the unit one isn't as bad, and it's more attached to the plot than the other one. The other one's just like, haha, this is a joke. But the unit one was attached to the plot, so I'm fine with that one staying in if they took the other one out. But they could have dealt with it differently, because it's like, just checking. I understand that's what they do, but they could have made it a bit more personal in a way to the Doctor. That's basically Yeah, so yeah, I'm 8 out of 10. So, for me, Happy New Year, and for you, hope you enjoy Revolution on the Daleks. Almost like Resolution, but I didn't. So that'll be my review and opinions on that, and how that's going to lead into series 13 and more than Jodie Whittaker era if she stays around for more than 3 series. Because it sounds like she's going to stay around longer than series 13. So yeah, that'll probably be 30, 40, maybe 45-minute video on that. So I hope you enjoy the episode, and yeah, hope you'll enjoy Revolution of the Daleks. And it'll be my review of series 12, episode 11, that specific episode, Revolution of the Daleks, tomorrow. So adios everybody, and Mr. Scarlet, out.